To create the construction documents for submitting for judging, there's really so many different ways. Technically, you can create different tabs, one for each construction document. Like I could do a layout two, and then here set up the viewports and set it to scale, and then adjust the layers. But I'm thinking for contest purposes, maybe on one layout, just put in all your sheets on one layout. And that way you can leave it on your screen there, and everybody, the judge, can come up right at your screen and say, oh, this is the plat, this is the utility plan. So that's what I'm thinking. And in the industry, it really depends. Everybody has a different way of doing it. So just kind of understanding what that is. So I think we'll do that on one layout here, once again, so that the judge can look at your one layout here and see all your construction documents. So we've been working on this one. You started with a plats, you curve tables and everything. So you could probably just copy this same one, and I'll copy off to the side so you can start creating your different documents. Maybe one here and one here. Um, and then remember this gray area here. Don't forget that under options, by default, don't forget that too, that by default, you're going to see this type of thing. And remember that if you want to work with the white, that's fine, but that's kind of annoying. So don't forget that to change this and change it over to regular really a black screen. You can go to OP for options, and then you're going to go over to the display tab in colors. And then for me, just the sheet layout uniform background, change that over to black. Now, the other thing too, let me just show you this on the background, is you're going to see the sheet over here. But since we're going to use the rest of this, what you can do is you can actually make the whole thing black. And what you do is you'll take off the paper background, apply, and then that way it makes the whole thing all in like a big black screen. And it's still paper space, so nothing changes. And model space is still this one, but it kind of does look like paper model space, but it isn't, because you'll still have the different viewports. So then you can start setting up the different sheets. So, like if this is going to be your plats, remember that on your plats, you only see property lines. You don't see drainage areas, drainage arrows, and all that stuff. So we need to start working with layers, which is something we should have done to begin with. But and I don't want to see that part here, so I'm going to go ahead and just adjust the viewport, move that in a little bit. Um, and then we start taking things off within these um, viewports, for example, and make sure that they're locked. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the um, water and sewer. Right now, my water line is current, and just asking you, are you sure you want to turn it off? Yes, I do. The drainage arrow, let me see what layer I put this in. Drainage area limit, very good. I'm going to turn that one off here because, again, it's just a plat. And as far as the surface, that's a good one. That's a very good question. Layer C topo. Okay, so I think we can just turn off the layer C topo, and I just kind of clicked on it and hover it, and it's layer C topo. So I think I'm just going to go to that layer C topo. So because I don't need it in that one document. Go down the list a little bit. It's alphabetical. Layer C topo, and I should be able to turn that off. I'm hoping that works. And that didn't. That's kind of scary. How do I turn that off? Do I freeze it? Yeah. Okay, so we need to freeze it. And then this is under the C topo text. I'm going to go ahead and freeze that one too, because I don't need to see the topo text. And there's your plat. So you can kind of see this one nice and complete. This actually doesn't apply to this one document, but since I copied it, I'm going to erase that. And that's your final plat. The legend will apply to these other ones. Now, this is one problem here that I just noticed. Okay, good. I'm glad I did this. I froze it universally. So it's froze it in model space and paper space. So I really can't do that. You have to be careful. So this is a good thing that this happened, because I kind of forgot about that. So now I can go over that with you. In that I froze that C topo and let me go to C topo and unfreeze that, turn it on, and then the annotation. Unfreeze that. Okay. So I froze it globally, and I can't do that. So the way it's going to work is I need to go in here. And now that I think about it, I think we can use the freeze command, or is it the off, where it'll just turn things off within this viewport. And yeah, that didn't work. Okay, and I'm thinking it's because of part of the surface. So now we know it's C topo. So I'm going to go here to my layers, C topo and C topo annotation. So the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do it as a viewport freeze. I'm going to export this. So right now this is my current active viewport. So I'm going to go to C topo and I'm going to viewport freeze that one. So it turns it off within that viewport only. And that's exactly what I want. See that? So then C topo annotation, or was it C topo? Oh, I forgot. And close this guy, and that is go home, C topo text. Sorry about that. And go and freeze that one. And that's what you're going to be doing within the viewports is really just viewport freezing. C topo text. There it is, and do it. Not this one because this will freeze it in model space also, which will freeze it in all the viewports. So you really just want to do it in within that viewport itself. And then we have it there. Now, another thing, to be honest with you, since we're going to be using this, the rectangles, to make it look a little bit nicer, what we could do here, even though that rectangle is in a layer, see annotation V-frame, that one, I really don't need to see it in all of them. So I can actually just globally freeze it. So that way it just looks like a nice clean construction document. We don't really do this in industry. I don't like it either because you don't know where the viewports are at, and you won't even know it's a viewport until you actually double click into it and then, oh, there's the viewport, but how do you know what the size of it and everything? So that's not usually the way I myself like to do that, but at least for contest purposes it looks like a nice clean plat. And I would probably put some text in here and call it subdivision plat, some nice bigger text as the subdivision plat. And I think I misspelled subdivision plat. Make this a little bit bigger. So yeah, so you just have to be kind of conscious of your layers, like the drainage arrows. That we probably should have put those on another layer because now they're showing up here, and I don't need them in the plat, so I need to get rid of those. Um, and then here you can probably just take this one and just make it a little bit bigger, make it look like a title, and then you can just use this one here, and I can even grab all this and just underline it. And then we add some spaces. Well, we wouldn't even take that. That's the plat, and then add some other text underneath it, and then just call it the scale. That's kind of very typical of how we put our documents. 1 inch equals 50 feet. I don't know why it takes so long. Okay. And you can use this little toggle for each one, and then you can put one for utility plan and so on and so forth. I would make one just for utilities, and the topo really just shows up for the most part in drainage plans. You really don't see topo on utility plans. So, you just start setting up your construction documents like this.